and welcome to H-Brain Orientation for H-2A employers. Whether you're here because you're considering jumping into the H-2A program for the first time, or you've already enrolled and you're looking to get a better grasp of what you signed up for, you're in the right place. The H-2A program can be a powerful tool for agricultural employers, but it comes with its own unique rules, responsibilities, and challenges. That's where this orientation comes in. We've designed it to give you a clear, practical understanding of the basics so you can move forward with confidence. This video is broken down into 4 straightforward chapters. First, we'll cover what the H-2A program is and what types of employers are eligible to use it. Then, we'll dive into the most important requirements and responsibilities that come with participating in the program. Next, we'll walk through the key considerations when employing foreign workers through H-2A. Finally, we'll look at what you need to know when it comes to U.S. workers and how they factor into your use of the program. No fluff, no legal jargon, just the essential information you need explained in a way that makes sense. Let's get started. Chapter 1. What is the H-2A program and who can use it? First things first, H-2A is a type of work visa. The United States has several work visa programs like H-2B, H-1B, EB-2, and others, but H-2A is specifically for agricultural labor. It allows employers to bring in foreign workers to do temporary or seasonal farm work here in the United States. To get approved for H-2A workers, employers have to file paperwork with multiple government agencies. And you have to prove to the government that you couldn't find workers here domestically that were willing to do the job. It's a complex process, which is why many employers choose to work with an H-2A agent who can help navigate the red tape and make sure everything is done correctly. There's no limit to the number of workers an agricultural employer can request, but it has to be for a bona fide seasonal or temporary need. That means you can't request workers you don't truly need for your ag operation. Doing so would be considered visa fraud, which is a serious offense. You also can't request workers to work for you permanently all year round, years in a row. The types of need that are allowed are seasonal, which refers to jobs that are tied to a season, usually less than 10 months long and recurring every year. Once your season dates are established, they are difficult to change. Temporary need is also allowed. It's a little different. It means that the job will last less than a year and doesn't repeat. It's a one-time situation. For example, dairy farms traditionally haven't used H-2A because milking is a year-round job. But if a dairy operation has seasonal needs in other areas, they may still qualify in other ways. As of 2025, you can request workers from any country, though in practice, over 90% of H-2A workers come from Mexico. Others often come from South Africa, Jamaica, Central America, and even Canada. You can request specific individuals and offer them the visa, or you can use a recruiter to find workers for you. The work you offer must be full-time agricultural labor, which means at least 35 hours per week. While there's no official maximum, most H-2A jobs fall between 40 and 65 hours per week. To qualify for H-2A, the work must meet the legal definition of agriculture under one of the following: the Fair Labor Standards Act, the IRS code, or specific activities like pressing apples for cider on a farm or certain types of logging work. Keep in mind, many modern farms operate under multiple business entities. What matters is that your H-2A workers are performing work that clearly qualifies as agricultural labor. If you're not a farmer, or the work isn't happening on a farm, it's unlikely to meet the program's requirements. There are 2 main categories of employers in H-2A. Fixed-site employers, meaning you own or operate the farm where the workers will be employed, and farm labor contractors, someone who takes workers to farms they don't own or operate. If you're a farm labor contractor, your application process will be a bit more involved. You may need a farm labor contractor card, if one is required under another law, the Migrant Seasonal Worker Protection Act, a surety bond, and you'll have to list the names and locations of every fixed-site farm you'll be working with. Farm labor contractors include the traditional labor suppliers for hand labor, pruning, harvesting, cleaning, weeding, etc., but it's also a popular business model for service companies that provide things like irrigation services, spraying, and fertilizing. Other filing terms like joint employer and associations are often used mistakenly by the users of the system, but there are two important unique filing methods to be aware of. If your need for H-2A labor is less than 35 hours per week total, and you know of other farmers in your area that are in the same boat, you may be able to file a joint employer application and share one worker. This is very rare since most employers looking to use H-2A need more than 35 hours of labor per week. If you are part of an association of other farmers engaged in the same farming capacity, you can participate in what's called a master application, where an association files the H-2A application and then shares the workers to its employer members. This is most common with certain associations in North Carolina, Washington, and Virginia. Finally, you will need a Federal Employer Identification Number, an EIN, from the IRS. You can be a sole proprietor, but you can't use your personal Social Security number. An FEIN is required. In summary, the H-2A program allows agricultural employers to bring in foreign workers for seasonal or temporary farm work. To qualify, the job must be full-time agricultural labor, you must have a valid employer identification number, and there needs to be a genuine documented need for workers. After you've tried and failed to hire U.S. workers for the same position. We'll talk about that more in Chapter 4. Now, I'll explain some of the most important requirements and responsibilities that come with participating in the program.